Oh shit. Here we go again. Worst place in the world.
About a year and a half ago, I made a 45-minute long rant about GTA Online. In case you haven't seen that video, I basically spent the whole time talking about how the new player experience was shit and how it would take hundreds of hours of grinding for a new player to get all the quote-unquote essential items. And that once they had all those essential items, it would still take stupid amounts of grinding to get anything they actually wanted. On top of that, the video was made soon after the release of the After Hours update that added nightclubs and the universally dreaded Oppressor Mark II. The game was not in a good place at that time. Shortly after making that video, I completely stopped playing Grand Theft Auto Online. It's been a year and a half, I'm back, and boy have things changed. There have been 5 named content drops since I released that video. At first, I wasn't going to make an update video, but after playing through all the new content, I just felt compelled. Even more so since 4 of the 5 releases are aimed at high-tier players. So let's take a look at how Rockstar did with these recent releases. Arena War. This is the update that came after the abysmal launch of Red Dead Online. It feels like it was put in the game simply so that players with millions of dollars laying around had something to spend it on. This is the only PvP mode that I know of where poor players are at a disadvantage against richer players. I mean, it's not like really poor players are going to be playing this anyway, since you need to buy a workshop that costs $1 million without any of the upgrades, and the cheapest pre-built arena-ready vehicle is $2.1 million. If you go all out, a fully stocked arena will set you back $4.3 million, and the highest price for an arena vehicle that I've seen is almost another $4 million. Even worse, the 8 Arena War game modes are all garbage. All of them. You have game modes like Flag War, which is just capture the flag, and Carnage, which is just free-for-all, but you only get 1 life. None of them make me want to play more than a single round before I go do something different. The best thing that came out of this update was the RC car races, but those are really only fun if you happen to get into a lobby that's almost full. Otherwise, it's just a game of seeing if the person in first will crash or else nobody's gonna catch up to them.
Premium grade, utterly unique luxury, a wonderful place to relax and entertain.
The Diamond Casino and Resort is definitely the update that got the most press coverage of all these that I'll be talking about. I mean, look at the irony of an actual casino being added into an online game in this day and age of loot boxes and other tactics that are designed to strip money straight out of a player's wallet. And here's the thing. I actually really like the Diamond Casino. Rockstar really pulled their punches here. I don't know why this update got as much hate as it did. Every way that I think of that Rockstar could have exploited the player in this update, they didn't. There is a daily wheel spin that can give you a special casino showcase car, or money, or RP, and they restrict it to 1 wheel spin every real 24 hours. They could have let you pay for more wheel spins or something like that, but they didn't. I know that there is an exploit to re-roll the daily wheel spin, but the way that it's performed doesn't really give Rockstar a way to patch it. The regular casino games use chips which are bought 1 for 1 with regular game cash, which can be bought for real money using shark cards. This would be a time bomb just waiting for someone with a gambling addiction to come along, but Rockstar even limited the number of chips that you can buy. You can only buy 50,000 per in-game day. That's 50,000 every 48 minutes. That's chump change for most players. The Diamond Casino update also added a few storyline missions where you stop the casino from being forcefully bought out in a style that only GTA Online could deliver. And the grand reward for finishing that storyline is $100,000 and an armored sports car with mounted machine guns that normally would have cost millions if they made you actually buy it. It wouldn't be a Grand Theft Auto Online update if they didn't have you buy something, though. This time around, it's a casino penthouse. It's basically a glorified player house with some arcade games and a high roller blackjack table. They can cost anywhere from $1.5 to over $6.5 million. It's just another money sink that Rockstar added into the game. Speaking of arcade games, though, this is the content update that got me to make this video. It's not the heist itself. I actually kind of like the heist. When I got a random to do it with me, it turned out that I actually got kind of lucky, and the guy actually speed runs the casino heist as his way of making money. He said it makes him roughly 750,000 to $1 million an hour, which makes it one of the best grinding methods, but it requires constant focus and all the time that it takes to learn the ins and outs of each of the missions. No, the part of this content drop that got me to make this video is the arcade. The price of the arcade that you arbitrarily use as the front for this heist is ridiculously expensive. Stupidly expensive. The arcade is basically a more expensive nightclub that requires less running the business, but lower rates of return. It's time to whip the calculator out. The cheapest arcade is $1.2 million. If you want to buy all the arcade machines, it will cost you a whopping $3.7 million. You would think that by having all the arcade machines, you would make some decent money back, right?
Wrong.
That is absolutely
Wrong.
If you have every single one of the arcade machines, your business will earn $20,000 every 48 minutes. And you better clear out the safe every 48 minutes, because even though it's only like a fifth the way filled, any extra money that would be added to it is just thrown into the ether. So back to the math part. If you bought the cheapest arcade with all of the arcade games, but none of the other upgrades, it would cost you $5,002,000. At $20,000 return every 48 minutes, that would require 200 hours of background earning to make your money back. 200 hours. That's not even the end of it, though. You can also buy a master control terminal to control all your other businesses for $1.7 million. At that price, just buy a nightclub that gives you that functionality for free. This is the content drop that finally drilled into me that there is no end to the grind. I thought that I was seeing the light at the end of the grind tunnel, but no. That light was just the glow of the arcade sign. At least my favorite GTA content drop to date was about to release. Formula 1 is my favorite sport. Despite that, I rarely get to play it in video game form. So I was absolutely ecstatic when I saw that Formula 1 style races were added to the game, complete with tire wear and vehicle damage that requires pit stops. And for once, I didn't even care that the price to buy a custom one was $3.5 million. The experience of running away from other players while in one of these F1 cars is absolutely unrivaled. I don't think that there is another car in Grand Theft Auto Online that lets you take 90-degree corners at full speed and have the downforce to keep you planted where other cars would be jumping around the place. Now, if only they would add a more modern looking F1 car, maybe with a halo, and a few tracks that resemble some in the current F1 lineup. Hey, at least we have player created tracks. You didn't think Rockstar was going to go through the coronavirus without making something about it, did you? Enter Gerald's Last Play, a group of 6 contact missions where Gerald has you making moves before the corona lockdown. One problem though, none of them really stand out. The only thing that makes these missions different from his other ones is the occasional reference to a lockdown. It's just 6 missions of stealing drugs or killing gang members, or stealing drugs and killing gang members. You're able to play through them all in about an hour and a half, and it takes about that long to forget about them too. Outside of all these updates, there seems to have been a general shift in the player base too. When I left, you would have been hard pressed to find a lobby that didn't have someone running around just killing people for the fun of it, and the only way that you'd be able to get any work done was by going into a public solo lobby. Nowadays, at least in PC lobbies, everything seems to be more chill. In my recent 75 or so hours that I've played, I've only been killed by a random player twice, and I've only run into a single malicious hacker. In fact, I've only run into 4 obvious hackers during that whole time. I don't know when or why this change took place, but damn if it's not a welcome one. Maybe they'll finally got bored and left. As of the time of recording this, there's even a player-run event going on, where people are dressing up as different colored aliens and beating the crap out of each other with baseball bats. Now to answer the question posed in the title of this video. Should you play Grand Theft Auto Online in 2020? Well, if you're a new player, then go watch my earlier video. Everything I said there still stands. Any new player is going to have a long journey of grinding to catch up with the rest of the player base. Hundreds of hours of grinding. On the other hand, if you're an existing player that just left because of how toxic the lobbies got, then I would say that you should probably come check out the new stuff. I don't know how it is on consoles, but at least on PC, lobbies are chill, and going around doing the new missions can actually be fun. You know, I should go check if Red Dead Online has had a similar turnaround. I guess you'll just have to wait and see. I'll see you guys in the next one.